All right, everybody, welcome back. Good afternoon. We've got some more free agents to talk about here today, and we are moving to a new position now. We're going to talk a little bit about right guard, and this is going to be a position I think a lot of Seahawks fans are pretty plugged into. It's not hard to see why. There is a pretty clear weakness in the offense. If you take a look at the players that the team brought to bear in 2025, and while there is going to be some stuff lost this offseason and some new stuff brought in, right now, with the way things are setting up, it does seem like that weakness is going to be still present on the team unless the team decides to go do something pretty significant about it, and it's that right guard position. However, like I did with receiver, but it's going to be kind of the inverse of what I did at wide receiver. There's a specific kind of player that we're looking for here. And my thing is, if we're going to do this, you got to go hard. All right, everybody, before we go any further into this video, I want to take a minute to tell you guys about the Sleeper app and some new functionality they've recently rolled out, Team Picks. With Team Picks, you can pick winners in all kinds of sporting events. Right now, we have NBA basketball, college basketball, NHL hockey is going on, baseball's going to start in a little more than a month, and of course, you have futures in the NFL, even though the games in the NFL are over. Right now, if you look to my left here, you can actually see you can bet on next year's Super Bowl winner. They've got the Seahawks leading the way in those odds, by the way, at 12%. How does that make you feel as a Seahawks fan? But you can bet on MVP, you can bet on draft picks, you can bet on player destinations, all kinds of fun stuff, even though the season is over. So that is Team Picks over on Sleeper. A lot of fun stuff you can do. All right, so right guard. Anthony Bradford is not very good. I think we all know this. Some people think he's worse than other people, but pretty much everybody thinks he's pretty bad. At the very least, he's not good. But here's the thing. We, by which I mean the Seahawks, just won the Super Bowl with Anthony Bradford playing virtually every snap. They had one of the best offenses in the league with him playing every snap, almost. And one of the most powerful things about the 2026 Seattle Seahawks is that they have the opportunity to go into 2026 with the same starting five offensive line, with the same offensive line coach as they had in 2025. Of all the things on the Seahawks to envy, that is near the top of the list. So I'm not getting rid of Bradford for just some random dude. And I'm not going to get rid of him for somebody who's a little bit better, because what I gain with a player that is a little bit better, I lose because of the lost continuity. So while I am open to upgrading Bradford, I want to go all the way if we decide to do it. And I will tell you straight up, the idea of spending a bunch of money on a right guard is something that I still have reservations on, but I still want to talk about it. So let's go through some right guard candidates. And I want to be clear here. These are the guys who are going to cost a significant amount of money. At the very least, it's non trivial. These are guys who have mostly played right guard, or at the very least have recently played right guard in the NFL. I don't want to get somebody who plays another position and then try to move them to right guard. That is something that can lead to disaster, and that's also something that is going to take time. And instead of taking that time, I'd rather just roll with Bradford for another year. So it needs to be specific, and there are guys that meet all that specific criteria. Let's run through them. Starting with Ed Ingram of the Houston Texans. So Ed Ingram of the Houston Texans. Hold on one second. Sorry about that. Had to answer my phone there. But Ed Ingram is a player that really broke out in 2025. Probably the best player on that Houston offensive line, which is not saying much, but he was pretty good. And he played most of the season for Houston at right guard. And the thing that you have to be a little bit wary of is Ed Ingram was a starter for the Minnesota Vikings the previous 3 years, and he was not graded very well. In fact, that 2022 season, he was abysmal, somehow allowing 11 sacks while playing all of his snaps at right guard, which should be impossible. But for whatever reason, in 2025, with a terrible set of offensive line teammates in Houston, he broke out. So is it a contract year push? Is it just him finally coming into his own? Is he finally healthy? Because I know he missed some time in 2023 and 2024. Maybe, but he's played right guard his whole career, so he is a true blue right guard, and there is reason to believe that he can be a good, a much better than Anthony Bradford right guard. But you're gonna have to pay for it. Ed Ingram, according to Spotrac, 3 years, $39 million. That is $13 million per year. Quite a bit of money for a guy who only had really one reliably good season and is playing the least valuable position on the offensive line. But if this is what you want, you're going to have to pay for it. So it's one of the best options available to you. Next guy is going to be Elijah Vera-Tucker. And this one's going to be tough because this guy can't stay healthy. This guy did not play a snap in 2025. This is his 2024 grade page. So 2024, he played most of the season, was graded very well, did his job, all around serviceable player. You look at his whole career, you look at his career as a whole, he's always been graded pretty well when he's played. The problem is he doesn't always play. He missed a lot of 2022, missed a lot of 2023, missed a little bit of 2024, and then missed all of 2025. And for whatever it's worth, that first season, his rookie year, he played left guard. And ever since then, he's moved to the right side, mostly right guard. So I think he's found his home in the NFL as a right guard. But I guess there's some room for debate here. And it's just a tough one, right? Because he's obviously very talented. He was drafted in the first round. He was the 14th overall pick. So there's a lot of pedigree here. And every time he's been a consistent presence on the field, it seems like he's been pretty darn good, especially at right guard. But the problem is, how much availability are you going to have? He's coming off a season-ending injury, I think, before the year even started. So there is a gamble here, and you're going to have to pay for it, according to Spotrac. Now, I'm going to say this. Spotrac has 4 years, $51.3 million. That's $12.8 million per year. I don't know if that's going to happen when he's coming off such a big injury and lost his entire contract year to that injury. So this may just be unrealistic. This might be based off of his play in 2024, and that's going to factor in. I don't know if it's going to factor in enough for him to get paid like this. So I actually think Vera-Tucker is going to get less than this. It might even be a 1-year prove-it deal. It's still not going to be cheap, I don't think, because he has proven to be a good player when he's on the field. Okay, so after Vera-Tucker, you've got Daniel Faalele. And this is a tough one because this guy has a pretty negative reputation right now in the league. Kind of not as bad as Bradford, but people are not speaking kindly of Faalele in my experience on the internet. Now, I am somebody who often says that I'm not going to let the internet make a decision for me here, but this is not a guy with a super positive reputation right now. You can see Pro Football Focus does not think very highly of him. And that's been kind of the case his whole career. He's never been graded all that well. So is there an external reason for it, or is he just not that good? It's hard to know. 2024, he showed some positive signs, I guess. So this is a little bit of a tricky one here. He's played nothing but right guard over the last 2 seasons. He initially started out as a tackle, but that didn't work. And then he moved to right guard in 2024. Seemed like he was getting a little bit better, was at least serviceable. But 2025, you can see, at least according to Pro Football Focus and the pass rush numbers, not better. If anything, probably a little bit worse. And look, some of that is probably because he had to protect Cooper Rush for part of the season. But is Daniel Faalele a good player? It's hard to know. He, in his own way, is kind of like a higher upside Anthony Bradford. And maybe the upside is even a little bit debatable, but for whatever it's worth, Spotrac thinks he's going to get money. 2 years, 21 million. So 2 years, 21 million, that would make him one of the better right guards in the league. And you're gambling a little bit here. You're gambling on him getting some money and then breaking out because he's going to turn 27 in November. And typically players are at their best from 27 to 30. So you get Faalele, and then he becomes a better player than he's been over his first few years in Baltimore. It's possible, but it is a gamble. He's talented. There have been some positive signs, but honestly, if my choices are just roll with Bradford or give 10 million a year to Faalele, I think I'm just rolling with Bradford. There's less of a ceiling at this point, I think, but at the same time, I can use that money on other stuff, and I know I can win with Bradford because I just did. So, I'm not a big fan of this one, but he is gonna be one of the high-profile guards available. And the final guy for this video, I'm gonna do another video a little bit later, but the final guy for this video is Wyatt Teller. And this one is a little bit more secure because Wyatt Teller's a longtime NFL veteran. He's been in this league for a minute. He's made Pro Bowls. He's a very well-decorated and well-thought-of player. So, Wyatt Teller is somebody that you can get and you just feel like, "Okay, I know what I'm getting here." Unfortunately, what you're getting may not be as good as you think. Pro Football Focus has been not super high on him the last 2 seasons. There's been clear age-related regression according to them. And, I mean, he is 30, gonna turn 32 in November, so it would not be surprising if he's just entering a different phase of his career. Now, his pass rush numbers or his pressure numbers are still solid, and I do think he's better than Bradford, but again, how much better is he than Bradford? It would need to be a significant upgrade for me to consider doing it. And again, Wyatt Teller, like the other guys we've talked about in this video, is a dyed-in-the-wool right guard. He's pretty much always played right guard outside of his rookie year, but he's also missed 8 games combined over the last 2 seasons. So what are you really getting with a guy like Wyatt Teller? His age, is he going to be able to do the things that a Shanahan scheme wants their offensive line to do? I know Bradford isn't necessarily good at those things either, but at the very least, Bradford is young and athletic. Wyatt Teller is old and losing whatever athleticism he may have had at one point, which, I mean, in that Browns scheme, it's a little bit more straightforward for those guys. So you're talking about scheme clash, you're talking about age, you're talking about a lot of things that are throwing up clear red flags against you going after Wyatt Teller. He is a good deal removed from his elite right guard days, it looks like. Pro Football Focus has him well removed from being an elite right guard. And Spotrac thinks you're going to have to pay him. They got 3 years, 30.5 million. That's not really something that I'm excited about. I don't think he's gonna get this much because of age and also because there seems to be a story being told in his abilities over the last 2 seasons. But he is a 3-time Pro Bowler and he does have his name has some oomph in it across the league, right? Wyatt Teller is a known commodity in this league and he may get more money than you expect because of that. What I would say is that the only way I'm considering doing Wyatt Teller is if he's taking a big discount to ring chase, because obviously he's got no rings from his time with the Cleveland Browns. So if Wyatt Teller's like, hey, give me 3 or 4 million for 1 year so I can go try to win a ring, then I might be listening. But if he's looking for this kind of a deal, there's no way I'm doing it. Not even close. So there's a circumstance, but buyer beware on a guy like Wyatt Teller right now, who is still a good player, still better than Bradford, but is he a better scheme fit? Is he better given Bradford's chemistry with the offensive linemen around him? I'm not so sure. All right. I'll see you guys later. Go Hawks. We're going to do another right guard video later, but let me know what you guys think. These are the high level guys. These are the guys who are going to cost some real money. These are the guys you can reasonably have high expectations of. All right. Everybody have a good rest of your day. Go Hawks. More videos coming soon.